Good afternoon, everyone. And to all of those people who are watching this around the world, a very warm welcome to King's High, Warwick. Shall we give all our guests who are watching this through a live stream a big King's High welcome? You will know, I'm sure, just how much work has gone on over the past probably 14, 15 months to make today happen. And it all started with a single conversation which followed a single idea from Eleanor Griffin. So I'm going to hand over to Eleanor now and her team, who are going to talk about it in a little bit more detail.
Thank you, and as Mr. Nicholson said, everyone who is watching this live, welcome to King's High. I'd like to invite the Mars Society up with me, and we're going to give you a bit of a background to the link. So, I hope you are all as excited as I am for this link, and to see us speaking to NASA astronaut Richard Arnold. We're holding this contact because I was inspired by a link I saw to the International Space Station 2 years ago. Last year, I decided to apply to ARISS, who coordinate these links. They had 52 applications worldwide and 4 were chosen, including King's High's. This was the first ever student-led application ARISS had ever had, making it completely unique to our school. I wrote an educational proposal designed to reflect a year of academic study in space science education. This was seen throughout many of your subjects, from science to English and drama to geography. We wanted to inspire all students to become interested in space, a topic we believe is integral to our future.
The core of the proposal was to educate students in space science, but further that, Mars. Our grandparents were the generation who put the man on the moon. Our parents were the generation who assembled the International Space Station. As the next generation, it seems only logical that we are the people that make humanity an interplanetary species. The next step in human space exploration is sending people to Mars, with the idea to later build a permanent colony. However, you may ask, why Mars?
We all know that there are 8 planets in the solar system: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. However, for our current technology, Mars is the most feasible. Mars is closest to the Sun, Mercury, is closest to the Sun, making it very hot, while areas sheltered from the Sun are very cold. It has no atmosphere, meaning that it receives much more solar radiation than we do from the Sun. Venus is even hotter than Mercury, and is a victim of the greenhouse effect, the same that we have here on Earth, but multiplied by a great number. Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune are all gas giants. It's impossible to colonize these, as there is no ground to stand on. The moon has been considered, however, in the event of a natural celestial event which would disrupt the Earth, the moon would be disrupted too.
While this process of elimination leaves Mars, that does not mean it is suited to life and colonization. The surface is barren, there is little liquid water, and no magnetic field to protect us from solar radiation. The effect of gravity is noticeably less, and so is the atmospheric pressure, not to mention the trace amounts of oxygen. While this may sound fatal to the success of human colony, we will be able to find solutions. Our habitats would need radiation shields, and oxygen generators would be commonplace.
Food and water would pose challenges, but if Matt Damon can grow potatoes on Mars, I'm sure we can too. You would be heavily reliant on our home planet, and while this venture may seem draining on our resources, the invaluable research done on Mars will be integral to the survival on Earth. To make sure as many students as possible could benefit from this project, the Mars Society was created. This group of students had to submit a CV and a letter of application, and were chosen from many to help coordinate the Warwick Mars project throughout the year. The Mars Society has met regularly over the last year to discuss the link and how to maximise its potential. We held the question competition a few months ago so that all of you could have the opportunity to ask your question to Ricky. We judged over 250 entries to find the top 20, which you'll hear today.
We wanted to make sure that students in our school could keep up to date with everything. So we set up a blog with regular updates, photos and advertising events. We also wanted to expand our knowledge outside our lessons, so we each undertook a personal research and wrote up our findings. Each one is unique with a range of topics from the formation of Olympus Mons to how we could overcome the effects of solar radiation, and mental health issues and exercise on the ISS, to a hypothetical hybrid language spoken by Martian colonists. They have all been published and can be viewed on the blog.
We have a great relationship with Warwick Prep and have visited them many times to talk to the students about the Mars project, speak in their assemblies and see the work that they have done. Miss Wilby, the Kings and Prep STEAM coordinator, has done an amazing job of integrating the Mars project into the curriculum at the Prep.
The Prep have thoroughly enjoyed being part of the Mars Society. We have, in fact, our Year 1s visiting Mars tomorrow, adorned with the space helmets that they have made from a multitude of cardboard boxes. We have had our Year 2, Year 3 and Year 4 doing some wonderful descriptive writing about Mars and some poetry on Mars. And our Year 6s, well, they started with a visit to the Space Centre where they really focused on the planet Mars. They have made Mars landers, which we have thrown from heights of over 5 meters, many of which have survived. They have made space smoothies to accompany the astronauts when they visit Mars for the first time. They did some amazing Mars projects where they made models made from cakes, from cabbages, from paper mache, and they did some wonderful presentations which they came up to King's and down at the Prep where they presented to the rest of the school. And finally, they took part on Tuesday in an amazing primary space day where they all trained to be astronauts. Thank you.
On Tuesday, we held our Space Day that many of you may have been involved in. We want to inspire students at all ages in their school career. So down at the Prep, children from local schools gathered for a Mars and space themed day. We carefully crafted a carousel of activities, designing a mission patch for your team, building and testing Mars lander prototypes, learning about weightlessness, doing mission calculations and undertaking astronaut training. Up here, we also had students participating with a slightly different set of activities. We had representatives in from the UK Space Agency, National Space Academy and British Interplanetary Society. We heard a series of talks on the importance of space exploration, exoplanets, and the Twinkle and Smile space missions, as well as building prototype rockets, doing science challenges, and seeing a static rocket live firing and a Q&A panel from field experts.
As well as the Space Day, we held lots of competitions and events, including our stargazing night with Stratford Astronomical Society. Students across the foundation were invited to learn how to navigate the night sky and use more complex astronomical equipment. We held our astrophotography competition and received some amazing entries from students throughout the school. We also set up the Amateur Radio Licensing Club for students to work towards becoming licensed radio amateurs. We have already had 3 girls pass the exam, and with 3 more about to take the exam. This means that we will be legally allowed to contact people all over the world, the country, the continent. You learn a range of things in order to take the test, including different types of antennas and receivers, feeders, transmitters, propagation and safety, as well as practicing and experimenting by radioing each other across the school.
We had a range of Inspire lectures that will continue throughout the rest of the year, with a leading professor of astrobiology scheduled to visit us in June. King's High School has been given this most amazing opportunity, not just for the students here, but the students throughout the Warwick Schools Foundation, across Warwickshire and all over the world. So we hope you enjoy it.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the King's High School and to a contact with the International Space Station, which we're going to do in a few minutes, hopefully in just short of 15 minutes. What I wanted to do first of all was just to introduce my team to everyone. We've been here for probably the best part of 3-4 days now, doing a lot of work. You've seen us doing everything, but I think it's worthwhile to describe everybody. So from the side, we have Graham, who is G3VZV, and Noel GTZ, who are working on our audio desks and the web stream. So this is where it's going out to the internet. And over on this side, we've got Carlos, G3VHF, and David, G4DPZ, and Chris, M0IEB. And up somewhere, on the cameras, can't quite see them with the light, sorry, we've got John, 2E0XLS, and John, where's he gone, G7ACD. So quite a lot of us up here to do something really special, and we hope you do enjoy it. So, how many of you this morning watched television? Yep. Listened to the radio? Yep. Used your smartphones to do Wi-Fi? Yeah. What else? Used Bluetooth to connect to headphones or anything? Yeah. Yeah. Thought so. Just about everybody. What's this got to do with radio? Anybody want to give a guess? Anybody want to guess why radio links them all? It's all because it's transmitting waves, radio waves, across the air, and sending and receiving those radio waves globally, around the world, or even locally within a nation, or even just within a school. And what we're going to do today is actually send some radio signals from King's High up to the International Space Station, and we're going to listen to the replies coming back. Now, in a couple of moments, Gigi, Fleur, and Maddie are going to join me on the stage. You'll know they're on the stage because they're going to pop up and say, "Hello, Kieran." But a question for you all. How many of you have had a present that's made you think about what you want to be in the future? Yeah, quite a few. I'm going to show you something. This was a present that I got from my parents when I was 10, so almost 40 years ago. And it's a little box of nothing more than just electronic components. And with that, I could simply make up some experiments, some little tests and everything. And one of the experiments was a radio. It's this little bit in the bottom. And let me just open it up for you. This is it here. And you can see a radio, or at least some bits in the corner. And that is what makes the basics part of a radio. And that got me really, really interested and basically changed what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And I spent the rest of my working career being an electrical and electronic engineer. So we've got Maddie, Gigi and Fleur on the screen, on the stage. Hello, girls. Now, you've been doing the radio club. Why did you do it?
I wanted to learn how the link with the ISS would work so I could actually talk to the astronaut and know why I was and how I was talking to the astronaut.
And that's what today is all about. It's about learning. We're called radio amateurs, and we have to get a license from the government in order to transmit radio signals. The very first clause of that license says that this is a license for experimentation and self-learning. And this is basically what we're doing. We're learning all the way through life. So, you've seen everything that we've got there. And you've been to the radio club. So, our biggest piece of equipment is the radio itself. And we call it a transceiver because it's a transmitter and a receiver. Do you know the difference?
Of course I do. If I get this wrong, it's your fault for teaching the wrong thing to us in Radio Club.
Yeah, exactly. Harsh, but true. Okay, so what is a receiver?
A receiver is a thing that lets us hear a radio signal.
And what is a transmitter?
A transmitter lets us create the radio wave.
Okay. And there's the crucial word, radio wave. Hands up if you know what speed radio waves travel. I know that some of the teachers do and some of the guests do. How many people know what the speed of light is? Yep. Okay. You can go and look it up. If I said to you the speed of light was 186,000 miles per second, could you get your head around the size of that number? I know you can. Yeah. Something travelling at 186,000 miles per second will go round the Earth 7 times in 1 second. Okay? That's the speed that radio waves travel throughout the universe. Why do you think that's important? Anybody? Okay. How do we communicate with the likes of the rovers that you see that are coming out of Mars, that have the Voyager missions that have gone beyond the edge of the solar system? We're all using radio. And one of the things that we have to do is that we remember that light travels in a straight line, and so do radio waves. But the International Space Station is traveling at 17,500 miles per hour, which is considerably slower. And one of the things we've got to do is try and link our equipment directly to the space station. Now, who can tell me what path is the space station taking? You can just draw it out. Where do you think the space station is? Above Earth? So it's going round the Earth. So it's constantly moving on us. If I sent a radio wave from the Earth, it will take just over 1 second to get to the Moon. The Moon is about 250,000 miles away, but the International Space Station is 250. So one of the things that we have to do is make sure our radio waves are pointing directly at the International Space Station. And that's what all of this equipment outside Red House has actually been set up to do. It's to help us point the antennas that transmit the radio waves that have been created by the transmitter out into space. And I've got a little demonstration for you, and I need you to help me judge this. So what's going to happen is, whoops, lost the ball. Fleur and Maddie are going to throw the ball to each other. And Gigi, if I can find the torch, is going to stand underneath them. And what she's going to do is trying to see if she can keep the torch shining on the ball as it comes up over to Fleur. So let's see if you can have a go. Go. Do you think she got it on the ball all the time? No. Okay. And that's why, thanks girls, you can go back and sit down again. And that's why we've got all this technology with us today. Yeah. Okay, so 10 minutes to go. So that's why we've got all this technology here today. It's basically to help us talk to the astronaut, to make sure our antennas are pointing in the right direction at the right time. So you can see up on the stage here we've got a number of computers, an awful lot of equipment, and the majority of that is controlling the antennas outside. Please feel free later on to come up and ask any questions if you want, but one of the key things is that we're using an awful lot of technology to help you do this today because we want to make sure we do it correctly. Now, what's going to happen? Well, shortly, I'm going to invite all the girls that are asking the questions to come up onto the stage, and we're going to start to get ourselves ready. But one of the things that you probably haven't done too much of is listen to what real radio waves or radio noise sounds like. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to play a little short clip of noise coming from the radio. And I want you just to listen to it, because it's not what you would normally hear on the radio. Yeah. That one's not. Yeah. It's going to be. Okay, so this is the noise that we're going to hear throughout it. But whenever the space station comes in contact with us, that noise is going to drop a bit, and we're hopefully going to hear the astronaut's voice through it. It might be incredibly difficult to start with. He is going to be approximately 2,500 kilometers away from us by the time he gets, by the time we see him first. So you need to tune your ears into listening to this noise and then listening to subtle changes of it as it's actually happening. Once we've done all of that, one of the things that we always do is we like to give the astronaut a huge thank you, to say very much taking his time out of his daily work to actually come and take part in the contact with you today. So one of the things that's going to happen is that Claudia is going to thank Ricky, the astronaut, and basically say everyone at King's High wants to give you a big warm welcome. And what I want everybody to do is to clap, cheer, and make a little bit of noise. So let's see if we think we can get that up to Ricky himself. So can we do a little bit of a practice on that one first, please? So Claudia's going to say, everybody wants to give you a warm thank you, or a warm say thank you to you, and I want you to clap. So I'm going to do it on a count of 3. So let's see how much noise you can make. 3, 2, 1. By the way, he's deaf, and we've got to get past this test, so didn't hear a thing. So let's try it again, and let's see if you can make it even louder. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so let's see if we can make it even louder this time. After all, the astronaut, by the time we come to say goodbye to the astronaut, he's going to be the best part of 2,000 miles over Europe on us. So we need to really do shout a lot. So 3, 2, 1. Yeah, okay, it'll do. 5 minutes. Okay, so we're going to take a few minutes now. I want to start getting everybody ready and up onto the stage. And while I do that, I'm going to play you a little short video and see if you can recognize the person that is in the video itself. There is a little bit of a giveaway because he does actually say his name. Okay, girls, can you start coming up, please?
Hi everyone, I'm Tim Peake and welcome aboard the International Space Station, where we're orbiting Earth 16 times every day. One of the most rewarding activities that some astronauts undertake on orbit is to talk to schools using the space station's ham radio. Now these are events that are planned by ARISS, which is a worldwide group of amateur radio volunteers who are dedicated to introducing young people and students to science, technology, engineering and mathematics.
Okay, hope you recognise that chap. He did an awful lot for science and space in the UK 2 years ago, and my team and I had the absolute pleasure of running around this country to help link up 10 schools, just like yourselves, to Tim Peake on the International Space Station. Okay, so we've got a few little things to start getting ready. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the guys to open up the what's called a squelch on the radio so that you hear this static, and I want you to listen carefully to it and take just a few moments to try and understand and hear it. And then we will start, Eleanor will start making the call to Ricky Arnold.
2.5 minutes, Kieran.
Okay, so if we bring the spaceship, so just listen carefully and just let's with it. Test. Can you hear me?
NA1SS, November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. This is GB4KHS, Golf Bravo 4 Kilo Hotel Sierra. Listening and standing by for a scheduled contact with the International Space Station. Over. NA1SS, November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. This is GB4KHS, Golf Bravo 4 Kilo Hotel Sierra. Listening and standing by for a scheduled contact with the International Space Station. Over. NA1SS, November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. This is GB4KHS, Golf Bravo 4 Kilo Hotel Sierra. Listening and standing by for a scheduled contact with the International Space Station. Over. Ricky, a very warm welcome to Warwick, England and King's High School for Girls. Are you ready for your first question? Over.
I am ready for the questions.
This is Eleanor. When we colonise Mars, what's the most important thing we need to learn from our ancestors' mistakes on Earth? Over.
The most important thing we need to learn from our ancestors is how to work our resources and how to use our resources efficiently. We've learned a lot over the last 1,000 years on Earth here, and we need to be very conscious on how we use our resources.
I am Florence. What types of weather can you get on Mars that we would have to tackle if humans were going to live there? Over.
Well, I think the biggest thing on Mars that we would have to be aware of is that it can get very hot. It can also get very cold, much more than Earth, and the winds can blow very, very heavy. So we will have to have strong structures there to support life.
This is Shapangi. Considering the research into life support systems on the ISS and research into in-situ resource utilization, how long after the first manned mission to Mars do you think a Mars colony can be self-sufficient? Over.
Well, that kind of all depends on what we send up for equipment early in the program. If we send up the right equipment, I would say within a year we could be fairly self-sufficient. Over.
I'm Gigi. Now that you are on the ISS, would you have done anything differently during training, physically or mentally? Over.
Yes, I would have trained less, and I would have concentrated on being better rested before I got here. Over.
I'm Emma. Having experienced the vastness of space, do you believe there are other forms of life in the universe? Over.
Yes, I do. Universe is so large that humans cannot even comprehend it. I am convinced that there's got to be life somewhere. It may not be life like humans know it. It may just be little bugs or little germs or little amoebas. But I do believe somewhere that we will probably never ever get to as humans, there is life elsewhere.
I'm Maddie. How has your journey to space changed your perspective on human life? Over.
I would say that my perspective has not been changed, but it has been reinforced. So the big picture you get from the International Space Station is that we live on a beautiful planet. There are not that many borders, and we are all humans who love our families, and we live on a beautiful satellite called Earth. Over.
I'm Imogen. What aspect of space travel do you think needs to be improved in the next 10 years to get us further into space? Over.
I think there are two very critical aspects of space travel that we need to have revolutionary improvements on. The first is protection from radiation. To get to anywhere's distance in space, we have to be able to protect ourselves from the extreme radiation that we'll be forced to fly through. And we will also need propulsion that is not chemical propulsion, but can get us to these distant places with minimal energy. Over.
I'm Evie. What is the most magnificent place on Earth from space? Over.
When I look through the window, I think that Europe is very magnificent to me. There's a lot of history there, and you can see all of the historic waterways and historic routes that people and humans have traveled. Over.
I'm Rosie. How does not having daylight or seasons in space affect you compared to being on Earth? Over.
It really doesn't affect us very much up here. We're very busy with work, and we get to see, if we want to look at it, we can see several sunrises a day. We have up to 16 of them every day, along with sunsets. But we're so tired when we go to bed that it doesn't matter if it's light out or daytime. We just fall asleep. So it's a very nice environment to live in. Over.
I am Olivia. Is it true that the atmosphere changes your sense of taste up in space? Over.
I have heard that same story, but my sense of taste has stayed the same. I still like ice cream, I still like cookies, and I still like steak. Over.
This is Eleanor asking Shivanshi's question. How does the feeling of weightlessness compare to the training underwater on Earth? Over.
Well, it's actually very similar, and if you've noticed, our astronauts and cosmonauts train in pools to get neutral buoyancy, but when you hold your breath and you go to the bottom of the pool and you push off the side and you float along, that's really cool. That's kind of what it feels like to float along in space, except you don't have all that water around you. You only have air for that. So it's very similar, but it's different because you don't have the big water effect. Over.
I am Florence asking Martha's question. How far into the future is the technology needed to make travelling between solar systems the norm? Over.
Boy, I really wish that would happen a lot sooner, but I'm only guessing that we're going to need a few generations. But on the bright side, we went from just barely flying airplanes to being in space in under 100 years. So a generation or two, you could see some significant changes in technology that would allow us to do all kinds of neat things between Earth and space. Over.
This is Emma asking Emma's question. What part of nature do you miss most from Earth when you are in space? Over.
I miss being outdoors. I miss seeing trees. I miss smelling the evergreen. I miss smelling the rain when the rain comes down and hit the hot pavement. Over.
This is Shupangi asking Holly's question. How difficult is it for your body to adjust to life in space? Over.
Some folks have a hard time and some folks don't. I was lucky that my adaptation was very quick. The biggest thing we deal with is a fluid shift, and once you get used to that, it's not that hard at all. Over.
This is Imogen asking Amy's question. What is the one thing that surprised you the most when you saw the Earth from space for the first time? Over.
The one thing that was a little surprising was how fast we were moving. The Earth is rotating and we're moving, and when you're going to take a picture, you got to do it quick, or before you know it, it's gone. Over.
This is Maddie asking Olivia's question. We all know space can be a dangerous environment. How do you and your fellow astronauts protect yourselves while on the ISS? Over. We all know space can be a dangerous environment. How do you and your fellow astronauts protect yourselves while on the ISS? Over.
Learn, because it's very important. We need you to be smart, and we need you to have vision when you come into the program so you can bring us into the future.
I'm Gigi asking Emma's question. What does your training on Earth entail to help you cope with the effects of the lack of gravity on your sleep? Over. What does your training on Earth entail to help you cope with the effects of the lack of gravity on your sleep? Over.
Okay, so I think that was the effect of lack of gravity on your sleep, and there was nothing that really affects the sleep. We just kind of, it's a very sound sleep, and there's no pressure points, so it's a very nice sleep. Over.
This is Evie asking Jay's question. What's your advice to young people dreaming of becoming involved in space programs? Over.
Sorry, that question was garbled as well. Could you say again?
What's your advice to young people dreaming of becoming involved in space programs? Over.
And Kings High School, I think we are losing contact here. I'm not reading you very well. I want to thank you for a great day. You guys are all superstars, and I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much. This is November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra, signing off Channel 40. Thank you, and have a great day, Kings High School.
NAISS, this is the GB4KHS handing back to the International Space Station for a final. GB4KHS off and clear. Can we have a round of applause?
Question? Okay, it was a little bit scratchy towards the end, but I think you can definitely say you've really spoken to an astronaut in space. And I think my team and I would like to say a huge thank you to all the girls for being brave enough to stand up here and actually do all of those questions. And if you can join in me as well, that would be really great. So thank you very much, girls. Now, what you probably haven't just realised is that you've actually taken part in what's probably the biggest experiment that you're going to do in your school careers. So take this memory, remember it, it will stay with you for life. The number of people that we've done this with now who years later still remember vividly the day they asked the question or heard an astronaut in their school is absolutely amazing. Now, I'd like to hand back very briefly, but then I've got something else to say.
Thank you. Kieran, thank you very much indeed to your team. Can we give all the team who've been involved in this a huge round of applause, please? It has been the most extraordinary journey getting to this point, of all sorts of meetings and schedules and when in the week the contact was going to be, and deciding which of the 10-minute slots was the best for us, and hoping that that would work for the International Space Station as well. It's been a massive undertaking, and obviously we've had professionals doing a huge amount of it, and you will have seen these guys around a lot. I would point out, girls, there needs to be girls in this team as well, so you need to do something about that. Not guys that you aren't absolutely wonderful, but we are about empowering you girls to see role models and think, yes, I want to do that. And that this is the sort of thing that I would love you to be doing in schools in the future, going around and doing these amazing activities and really opening people's eyes to all the opportunities that aren't just on this world, but are out in space as well. So a big thank you to the team, and also to all the support team and senior colleagues who have done an awful lot of work across here and the foundation to make this work. But I would like to particularly congratulate Eleanor. Eleanor and her idea should be an inspiration to you, because this came from a conversation. All of this came from one conversation between Eleanor and myself about, as I say, 14 or 15 months ago. If you have grand ideas, girls, we want to make them work for you. So take this as your inspiration. What is it going to be that you want to give to our fantastic community that will make a difference to other people's lives? Because one of the things that we've done all the way through this process is this is about you and about giving you something and about girls giving back. And that's really important to all of us. So on behalf of myself, my senior team, ARISS, and all of you, can we give Eleanor a big round of applause as well? Congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
from our perspective, I don't think it's possible just to put into words just the amount of work that Eleanor and her friends have done to actually bring this to you today. Absolutely fantastic, an amazing achievement. So well done again, Eleanor. Now, we were talking about radio as being the main thing that this whole thing was about, and you heard about Eleanor and some of her friends who joined the radio club. As I think it was Shibangi said, that there were 6 of them in the radio club. So can I ask those 6 to come up again, please? And as Shibangi said, you have to sit an exam. In fact, there are 3 different exams that you have to sit to obtain your full license to do what we've just done with the International Space Station in this manner. But 3 of the girls, Eleanor, Shibangi and Claudia, have already passed their first exam, and that was a really big achievement. One of the things we want to say to you is keep going. There's 2 more. You've got lots of people that you know here now that are happy to pitch in. And I'm going to say a huge good luck to Gigi, Maddie and Fleur, because they will be sitting their exams hopefully very, very shortly. But more importantly, we want to recognise the work that the girls have done in actually getting here. And along with, and I'm going to get this wrong, I think, CAPS, the parent association along with the school, have decided to award the 3 girls who have got their licenses already. Oops. It's in a box, don't worry, it's in a box. To award the 3 girls their first amateur radio so that they can continue to keep practicing on the air. So if you see them walking around the school talking really funny languages like over and out, you know that they're still practicing it. So Eleanor, congratulations and well done. Shibangi, congratulations and well done. And Claudia, congratulations and well done. And I would just like to say that we're all volunteers, but we are supported by some of the best people in the world. You see my team here. I've described this as one of the best teams that I've ever worked in, but there are also teams elsewhere. And the radios today have come from Martin Lynch & Son, who's one of our biggest sponsors in terms of all the equipment that we help use to talk to the space station. So well done to you 3. Good luck, girls. I look forward to finding out when you get your license, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you very much. So, like I said, we're called radio amateurs, but I don't think anything that we've seen today is sort of amateurish in any way. Does anybody know what the origin of the word amateur is? Go for it. That's one of them. That's one definition of an amateur. For the love. Hey? No? Yes, for the love. And that's what we do. We have an absolute love for science, technology, and anything that is normally called geeky. We will absolutely enjoy it. And what we hope to do is actually inspire some of you to actually get hold of the technology, do what Gigi has said was the reason she joined the radio club, because she wanted to understand how the link was going to be made. And that is the really big thing. Keep asking the question how, keep asking the question why, and I hope that at some point in the very near future I'm going to be able to welcome somebody from the King's High environment potentially onto my team to help go around to all the other schools elsewhere in the country. So, end of my part, and in what I'm going to do is I'm going to say thank you very much, and in amateur radio speak I'm going to wish you all the best wishes, and 7 threes from the ARISS UK team, and thank you very much.
Okay, so that was absolutely thrilling. So let's have 3 cheers for Kieran and his team. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Great job, everybody. Now, I know you're all hungry. I would like first, though, to ask all our speakers, all our questioners to stay put for a moment. If we would have our special guests go out